Hello, everyone. Welcome to the NASA Northeast track walk for the Jersey Motorsports Lightning course. You can find links to the maps and other information at our site, www.nasanortheast.com. So before we jump into the track walk itself, let's take a look at some logistics that pretty much work for all of our events. Generally speaking, our tracks are open the night before, so you can drop your car off like it says here in the trailer. And then the next day, generally, the track will open before 7. In this case, that's probably around 6:30. And registration and tech are going to be open at 7. They'll both stay open all day. If you need to change something in registration or get your car teched because you came later, there's some change. And also, we suggest you register your guests so that they can get out onto the track to see it. Our instructors love to take people out to show them the track. Also, if we're doing a hyperdrive, which is during lunch generally, and it's one classroom session and one session on track that's lead follow with instructors, you want to go to registration to get that taken care of too in the morning. So helmets need to be pretty new. SA 2015 for motorsports, M 2015 for motorcycle style are also okay. If you don't have a helmet, we have them available for rent. If you're part of the Toyota GR NASA program, helmets they are available for you. You need to have long pants, a short or long sleeve shirt, and closed-toe shoes to get on track. Doesn't matter if you're a passenger or a driver. Generally, and like this case, our driver meeting is at 8:15 in the morning. The track is open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for all of our track sessions. Classroom and debriefs are mandatory. Those are for informational exchange to help you both with technique and learn things about the track, as well as discuss anything that happened on the track that needs to be talked about among the drivers. From noon to 1 at Lightning and New Jersey in general, we take a lunch break. That's when we'll be doing hyperdrive if we're having it. And speaking of food, there is both a general store on the campus, which has breakfast stuff, at least a little bit. The pub that's on campus has an app, so you can order and go pick up lunch. And then if you want to go into town, it's probably a 10 minutes, so figure 30 minutes between getting stuff and getting back and getting gas, etc. Our paddock speed limit is 5 miles an hour. Please observe that. It's for safety. Everyone is walking around. There may be kids on bikes, scooters, etc., pets. So just please be cautious when you're driving around. There is air in the garage at Lightning. There are also gas pumps. It's quite a bit more expensive than when you're outside the track. So please come with a full tank. Use this to top off. We do run rain or shine. So be prepared for the weather, even if the forecast looks good. It's good to have some rain gear with you, and also a tarp and or a tub to cover your stuff to keep it from getting soaked. So now let's move on to showing you the facility. So as you can see at the bottom here, Dividing Creek Road runs along the track facility, the whole thing. The entrance is right here. It's marked with flags and a sign, and this is the road to come in. And there's our signing gate. When you come in to get to Lightning, you're going to be turning right. This is the Lightning track, as indicated here. Just want to point out right here, this is where the pub is located. The general store is up here in Thunderbolt at the back. Really not that far. This is the paddock area where we'll be parking, staging to go on track, etc. The building down here, the small, it's hard to see in this picture, but where our classrooms, registration are, all that information. So we'll take a look at that next. So here's track map. And again, here's our paddock. This is the access road that goes around the track to come in, the bridge. And as you can see, fuel is located right here. We don't have to worry about the false grid if we're not racing. That's just for the racers. Tech takes place right in this area, in front of the garage. And registration's on this end. And our classroom, where we do debriefs, is on that end. Although we do use the garage in here sometimes too. And so real quickly, just to talk about how you get out. When we line up to go out on track, be right in this area again. You go straight out here, turn right, go down the hot pit lane, out onto this, which is the blend to get onto the track out. Please don't cross the blend line. You don't want to merge into traffic until it's safe, so don't go shooting across the track. And real quick, we'll just do this. So the flags indicate where the flag stations are, and obviously the turns are marked. So turn 1 is blind, uphill to the right. It comes downhill, and this is flat through turn 2, flat through 3. This looks like it's a straight because it is technically, but the way it gets worked is that you really end up swinging through this like it's a giant corner, like a sweeper. Turn 3, tight, turn 4 is tight. And then as you come up to turn 5, right on here, actually turn 5 is blind. So you need to set up and come through here. And you'll be swinging across the apex there, and then back out to the left, and then to the right through turn 6. This is our first passing zone, or second passing zone, I should say, on the course. And you'll come under the bridge that we used to get into 7, which, as you can see, is pretty much a 90-degree left-hander. And you'll start to go uphill again a tiny bit, and turn 8 is blind again. As you go over that, you'll go through a light bulb. As you can see, it's more than 180 degrees. And as you exit out and then come back, the hill again blocks your view here. So we'll talk about why you need to be careful coming through there. And as you can see, as you come down the straight, which is another passing zone, this is the way you get back into the paddock. If for some reason it's closed here, you would go down the pit lane and come back in this way. So with that, let's just get out on track and take a look, and we'll start on the straightaway. And I want to mention, since we're getting started here, this is a video, or these stills are taken from a video by Kevin Feller, our friend and one of our instructors. And so while I'm talking, we'll be talking about what Kevin is doing in terms of looking and where his hands are placed. As you can see, this is a straight. This is the start-finish tower. The access road, we come out right here and go out onto the track. It's the garage on one end, where registration and classroom on the other. Way on the right here is the pit-in road that I mentioned, and back here is the paddock. So the track may not look it, but it's at least 4 car widths wide. So there's a lot of room out here. And Kevin's on the racing line and driving line on the left side of the straightaway, heading towards turn 1, which again is blind. So please look up as much as you can. That's what your instructors will be telling you to do in the car too. So let's get a little closer. As we enter turn 1, you'll notice that there are brake markers here on the side, and that the cars ahead of Kevin are starting to turn in. So they're reaching the end, and this is the curbing for turn 1 that you want to use as a guide fence. And you can't see it behind the A-pillar, but flag station is right here. And they're all placed when there's a hill at the top of the hill, so they can see both directions and let you know if there's something you need to be aware of, car is spun or something like that. So here we are right at the apex. You can see there's a cone here. And as is normal, we place them so that you know where to go, where an apex is, where to track out, where to turn in, but they do get knocked around. So, you want to try to figure out other visual cues to help you when you're on the track. So looking again back at what Kevin's doing, you can see that his head is turned to the right as he's turning in, and his hands are positioned pretty much at 12 and 6 as opposed to the 9 and 3, like when he was on the straight. So let's move on to coming down. We've exited turn 1, we've gone over the hill, down the hill, we're still going downhill a tiny bit, it's flattening out. To our right would be where people would be coming on track a little bit before this on the downhill part. Here is the turn-in cone. You want to watch for that. As you can see, the car ahead of Kevin has moved into the middle of the track and is moving his way across that way. And this giant is really that turn 2, 3 section that looks straight on the map, but you really take as a sweeper to go around through here. And so you can see how he's setting up for the corner as well. His hands are starting to turn to the right ever so slightly. And here we are right at the apex. The cone's right there, and it'll be tracking out. And this is that really fast 2, 3, 4 complex in terms of amount of time and what you have to do in the car. So now he has gone through 2, and you can see again, his hands are slightly to the right, looking to the right. And again, right here is aiming to be right over the curbing to come through this section. And when he swings around, he'll be heading back for the left hand that's coming up on a horizon right there. And here we are at turn 4, left-hander. You can see how his hand's positioned, how Kevin's looking, and you can see he's actually aiming to be out here. And one thing I should point out, even where it's flat on the track, you'll notice that there's actually camber. So this part of the track is lower than this part of the track. So that's significant because you want to use it for traction. It's there to help you, but it's hard to notice if you're going anything over 50, really. And if it's raining or wet, water would generally collect in here. So your line would be different because you'd want to avoid the rain and the water that accumulates. So these cars, as you can see, are heading away from turn 4 towards turn 5. So let's move on to where they're going. So this is kind of where those cars are positioned. You can see that track out curbing is here, and Kevin's using it. And in the distance here, what's really important to notice, the visual cue, is the billboards that are back here. You kind of want to aim more at this side, and that'll help you get through turn 5, which is blind and over a hill, just like turn 1, but a little more open again. So let's move into 5. And here we are at the turn-in point. And as you can see from the cars ahead of Kevin, they're kind of on a line heading towards this side of the track. And again, you can see that there is a bit of camber. You know, the track is higher on this side than this side, but not a ton. When you come over this, it almost feels like it's falling away. It's probably more flat than off camber, but that sensation is there. And again, if you notice all the way on the right here, this is actually the flag station, again, positioned at the top of the hill. And the apex is probably right around here, right beyond what you can see on this. And so as you exit turn 5, you're going to be heading downhill again a tiny bit and out towards the left. You can see there's a lot of grass that's not there because people have gone off track and ripped it up because they took too much speed going through 5. But you really want to aim down towards this way and start heading towards 6. So the curbing that starts here and winds its way around is what we would use for turn 6. So here we are in 6 as an apex. This is a really fast part of the course. This is a giant sweeper, so there's really not any braking to be done, even though it's a corner. What you'll notice again is this is where the flag station is positioned. There's probably a cone out here that we can't see. That's kind of indicating kind of what's going on. And you use the curbing, and as you exit the curbing, you're going to carry out to the left. It really depends on the car, on the speed. In the Miatas, like Kevin is in, and the other cars he's on track with in the race, you know, they're probably going to try to stay to the right just because that'll be the shortest distance, and they're not using so much power that it's pushing them to the left. If you're in a bigger, faster car, you probably will end up going more towards the middle of the track and just let it run is really the idea, so you can come back. So now we've gone under the bridge. That's what we use to get into the track, and you see that Kevin's lined up right in line with the brake markers right here on the right side. And this is coming to turn 7, which is that 90-degree left-hander on the map. I mentioned we will go back to the map at the end of this just to go over this again, but just to show you. These cars are kind of jockeying for position. If they weren't, they'd be lined up kind of here where Kevin is right now. So let's move on to the apex at 7. And so here we are, probably gone down to about the 1 brake marker, turning in. And you can see this is actually cone. It's the apex. And so you can see that our head is hitting that, and they're heading out towards right here, which is the exit curbing when you track out, what you'll be heading toward. And let's look as we go over that, and we see now we're going to be going uphill a little bit, and this is turn 8. So again, it's blind. Again, you have a flag station at the top, and what you want to look at in the horizon here is like way back there. That's actually where the retaining wall is on the outside of turn 9. The light bulb. And it's a little hard to see, but right in here, that's actually a notch in the wall, which you can use as a visual cue. And you can see Kevin's kind of pointed towards that, and that's a good thing to do. So you want to line up coming off of 7, tracking out, and then coming back to the left as you crest this hill, and then we'll see what happens as you roll into 9. So into 9, we're kind of lined up on the left side, and as we go through the corner, we're actually going to track more towards the middle, because it swings all the way around the side. There's curbing on the inside we want to use. I should point out the flag station here in particular, because when the session's over and a checkered flag comes out, it'll be waved here as well as on the main straight for all our HPDE groups. If you see it there, you need to kind of come on in and use that access road that we talked about earlier. So there's that notch again. You can see now it's lined up a little bit differently, but still kind of give an indication of where you want to go and where you want to be. So it's a good visual cue to keep in mind. And then here at 9, kind of swung around, coming off the bank, and you can still see that there's camber here, down, going to the track, and down to this corner. So again, water would accumulate here if we were having a rainy day. So this cone is an exit cone. It's really not that you have to drive to it, but rather come off the curbing and aim towards the exit curbing out here somewhere. That'll get you through from 9 to 10, which is another, basically a sweeper. So let's look at 10. Sorry, look at track out first. This is where all the cars have gone. And this is really where 10 is. So you can see again, this line of cars is going across the track, and the apex for 10 is going to be right against the grass here. So let's see if we can get there. And here we are at 10. There is a cone right here, and it's actually the exit cone. And from here, you're going to be sweeping back across, letting momentum carry you back across the track again. And again, just notice where Kevin's hands are and where he's looking. And here we are back on the straight. We've tracked out to the left. And again, we can see the tower in the distance, the straightaway, all the complex. And this is actually the pit in. So when you come through here, it's blind. So you want to be really careful when you're coming through here to check before you allow someone to pass you or give them a signal to pass you that it's clear that there's no one in that road, no one moving at a slower rate than you guys would be on the straight. So here's a view of the pit in. So this is the white line again, and you would just stay straight and come on in. So when you are actually pitting in, you want to get your left hand up out the window in a fist so that people know that you're moving more slowly and intend to go into the pit lane. So let's look at the track once again. And so just to go back over that, we started out, we were pretty much right here. Start finish is like right along there, opposite where we come out. This is where the checkered flag would be. Start of our sessions, beginning of the day, first session for everyone, there'll be a yellow flag around the whole course. And then after a lap, or possibly two, the yellow flag comes down. It's green everywhere. You'll see green displayed here. And after that, they just go away. Again, checker would be displayed at start finish and also at turn 8. So as we go into 1, again, it's uphill. You want to sort of stay all the way left if you can, right along that curbing. And there's a turning cone to get you through this uphill. You want to clip this curbing, not really run over it. It's kind of bumpy. You don't want to upset the car too much. And as you come down turn 1, out of turn 1, it's downhill through here. And there's exit curbing here that we didn't show in one of our pictures. But you do want to watch again, make sure that no one's coming on track in front of you. If someone is in this and you are coming around, you should go by them. All right, and they will yield. If they are on the track already, you need to yield and let them be ahead of you. All right, so we don't do any passing in between 1 and 2. So heading into 2, you stay wide and cut into the middle, clip this a tiny bit and just swing through this like a sweeper, essentially. You can also do it as a double apex where you kind of go in, hit the brakes and turn again, but most people will be doing it as a sweeper. Through this tight complex, you'll swing out here and come back to get the curbing. And here you really want to try to keep the car more towards the right side of the track, maybe the middle, because you need to set up for turn 4. So it's really tight and this happens really quickly. So you can get through here and try to use a little bit of that curbing to get to the exit curbing that's all in here. And when you come through here, this is where you start to set up. As you're starting to set up, you're going to look for those billboards will be right out here. So that's what you want to do. And then you want to get onto the left side of the track. Again, the curbing going uphill, it's blind. And again, our apex is right here at the top. And that'll swing you back across the track to the left. Use that. And so in terms of passing, if someone's going to pass through here, which we do allow, it's probably better for them to pass you on the right. And the point bys and passes are all done basically in the same direction that the corner goes. So if this turn 6 is to the right, you'd be letting someone by on your right. And when you let them by, you just want to give a little lift of the gas pedal. Don't hit your brakes. They're already catching you, so they'll be able to pass. And as you exit 6, as I said, you may end up staying to the right, depending on your speed. You may track out a little bit. But again, if someone's going to pass you here, once you've passed the apex of 6, you want to let them by on your left. Same thing applies as coming into this left-hander here, the 90-degree corner at turn 7. And again, now it'll start to go uphill through here. You want to exit and then work your way back across the track again to the left-hand side for turn 8. Right here is that flag station that we saw. And then you want to start working your way more towards the middle of the track as you enter turn 9, the light bulb. And gently work your way down to the curbing that's all the way around here so that you can get to the apex, which is probably somewhere around here, and exit so that you can get more of that curbing again out at 10. And then that's just basically holding your wheel will swing you back inside at turn 10 where it's blind again. So just keep that in mind. And then you're going to track out to the outside of the straightaway from 10 along here. And, in here is where you'd want to be before this hill is where you want to get your arm up and start to slow down a little bit so that people kind of know what you're doing as you're going to be heading into the pit lane and then off into the exit to get back into the paddock. So that's a lap, both in still and otherwise. So want to thank Kevin for letting us use his video. You can access it through that link that's here. And again, our track maps are here on our site. So with that, concludes our track walk for Lightning. We look forward to seeing you at the track. Thank you very much.